Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. Today's video, I wanted to dive straight into Chainlink and talk about where I think prices are headed from here. I found one of the most unique fractals in all of the market cycles I've ever studied, and I wanted to share with you guys exactly why I believe the same money is accumulating Chainlink every single sell-off, and why what we're about to see coming is going to be one of the biggest cycles we've ever seen for Chainlink up to this point. Chainlink is the reason DeFi exists, and because of this, we're about to see a big DeFi summer that's going to make us all a lot of money. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Always remember to click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos like the one provided for you here. And make sure you guys join the Discord server and congregate with the rest of my amazing community. Links are provided for you in the description to go ahead and sign up. On top of that, if you're a new guy getting into these markets and you want to make better decisions with your money, I highly recommend to check out my free ebook and download that. Not going to cost you anything, but I know it's going to help you guys out tremendously. So go check all that stuff out, join the Discord, and with all that being said, guys, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, so for today's video, we're going to be talking strictly about Chainlink. I wanted to dive into Chainlink because I am super bullish on this one long term. I do believe this is going to be one of the biggest catalysts for alt season. It was one of the biggest drivers of value over the last couple years. Through DeFi season last summer, we actually saw Aave, Synthetics, Sushi, a number of these other coins really took off. And it was in that process in which Chainlink kind of took a step back, and it went up a lot, but it was kind of chilling a little bit compared to what we saw with some of the other gainers going from, a lot smaller market caps to multi-billions. Obviously, the percent return is going to be bigger throughout those, but overall, we did see Chainlink kind of take a step back, and a lot of people kind of forgot about it. A lot of people just assumed that, Chainlink's Chainlink, it's going to go up, it's just what it does, but they didn't really think that it would have the same type of big parabolic rises as what we were seeing across the board on some of these other altcoins. And so it's kind of funny to see how much hype there was around Chainlink, only to see that hype really start to kind of decline over the last year, only while the price has gone up the entire time just about. And so I want to talk about some thoughts and perspectives. I actually noticed a new fractal for Chainlink that I wanted to share with you guys that I think is really cool because it shows how methodical each one of these consolidations has been. And chances are, because of these type of fractals, we can see chances are it's always just the same money that's accumulating each time. And that's why it creates these similar patterns. Now, the patterns that I wanted to share with you guys kind of resemble every single cycle that we've seen thus far. And they're not going to be 100% exact, but a fractal is never meant to be 100% exact. It's supposed to show you guys similarities in structure. So in this case, guys, what I wanted to share with you guys was after we got our cycle top in 2018, we actually started our bear market cycle. Now, what we went through was this type of a pattern here. We kind of chopped around here after our first lower high, and then we went for another low. This is really just our downtrending cycle. And then what we see here after we find a bottom is we make this move, and then we get this quick sell-off right back onto support. This is our shakeout, right? This is generally what happens inside of a market. During capitulation, sometimes a market will pop up and then sell off super strong. Usually there's some type of major shakeout that'll take place to get all of the scared money out of the market before it can go up to new upside. It needs to grab more liquidity before it can go up again. And so this is what we see right here. We start making an impulse, we break out of the bear trend, but then we have one more quick sell-off, one more panic that just shakes everyone out, right? And then what happens is we start the new parabolic trend. Now, before we start this new trend, this is another move that I want to point out because this is the fractal I'm trying to share with you guys. After the shakeout, we make our first higher high, and then we kind of just sit here and go sideways, stitching as they would call it, before making one quick, sharp, parabolic move into new all-time highs. Now, this is interesting because it's the same thing that we saw right here for the most part. This is really just the chop action. It's kind of like the W formation, right? Now, even though we don't go for one more leg lower like we did in the old cycle, what we see is the same type of shakeout. So notice how when we do find our bottom, in this case, we made a lower low, but in this case, we held support here. When we did find our bottom, we made a higher high, and then we had one quick sell-off that just shook everybody out. The same thing happened here with Chainlink, right? We bounced up. Everybody thought we were breaking new all-time highs. I'm not even gonna lie, guys. I bought some right here at just under $4. This was the second bag of Chainlink I ever bought. The first bag I bought was just slightly over $2, and then the second one I bought was right here at almost the exact top before the panic that we saw in March, right? And so it was in this time everybody thought it was gonna break out, and then this is where we got the final shakeout, right? One quick sell-off right back onto support. This one even went lower than these two levels based off of wicks alone. And so this was a pretty nasty time, right? It's the same as what happened here. It's the same, structure. Then what follows is the same as what happened here, where we make a higher high and then we just kind of stitch sideways, preparing for the final blow off top. Same thing happened here. We stop stitching sideways and then boom, blow off top. Same parabolic rally. We get the same consolidation there. Same as there, and then we get the same top, right? We're seeing the same type of similarities here. Now, guys, this is where it gets really interesting, because we did the same type of a pattern, right? So we don't make the same W type of formation, but we do make a downward correction, right? Now, what follows after we find our low is the shakeout, the rally, and then a quick sell-off. The rally, quick sell-off. Same thing happens here. We make the rally, and then we have this sell-off here, and we pretty much wick all the way back down to, I bought down here on this original sell-off, I bought at $7.90, which was almost the exact bottom on this chart. I remember watching during this second sell-off as it was wicking back down to my entry, and I was sitting there thinking, because I didn't have any more money to buy, or that I felt comfortable with buying more at the time, and I remember sitting there watching the price drop, and I was like, man, I thought I nailed the bottom. I was all hyping myself up that I was some expert, and here the price is dropping again. It might make a lower low. Obviously, that wasn't the case, and the dip got bought up immediately, but in that moment, I remember sitting there thinking, like, damn, like, this might go a lot lower than I was expecting. And so this is the same thing, the shakeout, right? It's the thing that really gets most people. I mean, if I wouldn't have been able to buy this exact bottom, and let's say I FOMO bought here at like $16 before that sell-off, if I was in that situation like most retail investors were, I would have got really scared. I would have, thought about selling my bag in that situation, which is why it pays to invest when the markets are dropping, because like when the shakeouts happen, you're usually in profit regardless, and so you're not really scared when that process happens. But regardless, guys, we see the same move, the shakeout, the shakeout. Now, guys, what happens after the shakeout? It's this move, the higher high, the stitching, right? We see the same thing happening throughout this entire period over the last couple months that we've been in for Chainlink. Keep in mind, guys, that each one of these gets more and more parabolic as the trend goes more and more. As the trend develops and gets steeper, the stitching gets more parabolic. And that's what we see right here. The same type of slow, methodical stitching, not really doing a whole lot, but it is going up. And now we're breaking out, which is going to take us into, the third step of this equation, I guess is what you could say, where we do have our parabolic rally. And to be quite honest, guys, I think it's going to follow a little bit more closely with this most recent parabolic rally that we saw, where we see something along the lines of this. I'm really not even kidding, guys. We could see a rally up to $100, see a short-term pullback, something like this, and then go for one more big rally up. Because you guys already know my price targets for Chainlink, which I personally don't even think price targets matter. Like, it's literally just a number I pull out of my ass, as long as the same as everybody does that's an analyst. I don't personally think that price targets matter that much, and I don't hold a significant weight upon that bias with price targets. So when I say I think it can go to $250 to $500, like, that's just a random number I'm pulling out of my head. I really have no idea what they can go to, which is why, I'm always going to sell based off the time frames. But the number I have been talking to you guys about for a while has been $250 to $500. I have made prior videos that talked about $1,000 Chainlink because of the fact I've always looked at Chainlink as being the Ethereum of this cycle. The thing is you always hear people talk about, especially with this channel, no offense to XRP maximalists or the people that really like XRP on this channel, but a lot of the people I see arguments that, oh, XRP is better than Chainlink. And while I love XRP and while I have a big position size in XRP, super bullish, you guys know how much I appreciate XRP on the channel, I still think that Chainlink's more valuable because really, guys, what we have is 3 generations of blockchain. We have generation 1, which is Bitcoin, the original blockchain, right? We can now send and receive value between each other peer-to-peer in a decentralized manner. That was a big thing. It's what blockchain first became. Then we have generation 2, and that's Ethereum, right? That's where you have the ability to program and build your own decentralized applications, issue your own smart contracts, as well as act as a store of value in a payment network. That's where we get generation 2 of Ethereum. Think about how well Ethereum did in that last cycle. It's the same thing. Every year, every cycle, I should say, there's a new generation of blockchain that comes out that captures the majority of the value for that cycle. And it's really whatever that use case it creates the hype for the cycle. And in the last cycle with Ethereum, it was the use case of being able to actually build your own crypto, being able to issue your own smart contracts, being able to raise money and do these things. That's why the ICOs blew up. It was because of Ethereum, right? And so because of that, Ethereum did so well. In this cycle, the generation 3 where we're at today is Chainlink. It's not XRP. It's not Aave. It's not, Matic or any of these other things. It's literally Chainlink, because the thing that people are failing to realize is while all of those other cryptos are doing well, while DeFi in general is doing phenomenal, DeFi and all of those other DeFi protocols only exist because of Chainlink. And it's Chainlink that is ultimately the reason DeFi exists. It's the reason we have price feeds. We can send and receive data from centralized to decentralized servers, and we're able to send between blockchains as well. Chainlink is the middleware that connects all of this blockchain space, and you could make the argument for all of the other oracles that have spawned because of Chainlink, but at the end of the day, they don't have the market dominance that Chainlink has. It's the I don't remember what they call it. The term is like I don't know, something like, basically what I'm trying to explain is when you have the mover's advantage is what they call it. That's what it's called. The mover's advantage. Chainlink has the mover's advantage. It already has all of the partnerships with all of the major tech companies in the world. Chainlink has got more adoption than any crypto I've seen in a quicker amount of time than any crypto I've seen. It took time for Ethereum. It took time for Bitcoin. It took time for all of these. But because of the fact that we're at this exponential growth curve with crypto, that what is happening is the new projects that are coming on, they're blowing up and getting more money quicker than it took Bitcoin or quicker than it took Ethereum, right? It took Bitcoin years and years and years and years to get any type of mainstream adoption. It took Ethereum, half as much time. It's taken Chainlink even half as much time as Ethereum. And this is a factor that's growing as the markets mature. And so because of all of this, I've kind of rambled on and got deep into my own thoughts with this. But because of this, I really do think that Chainlink has the opportunity of getting a price that's $1,000. I don't know, guys. Like I've always said, price targets don't matter. I'm selling off the time frames. But when I do decide to take profits at the end of this year, I wouldn't be surprised to see Chainlink sitting at $1,000 or close to that type of valuation, because we saw Bitcoin, it took a few years before Bitcoin hit $1,100, before it cracked that $1,000 price barrier. We saw Ethereum do it in 2 years. It did it in half as much time. So what's to say that Chainlink can't do the exact same thing this cycle and have more money flood into it compared to some of those other ones? That's just some of my thoughts and perspectives that I've had. I wanted to share that with you. Now, I think I've rambled on enough. Let's dive into the Bitcoin pair here and talk about some things, because in my opinion, this is one of the most important charts when analyzing Chainlink. Because Chainlink's had really one of the best charts against Bitcoin, one of the best performances against Bitcoin I've ever seen. And not just against Bitcoin, but Ethereum too, which is another big reason why I've put so much money into Chainlink. I really believe in this project. Now, I've told you guys it follows classic cycles. The reason I was so bullish on Chainlink originally is because I'd never seen a Bitcoin pair that just had such a stable foundation and just a stable parabolic rise. Then we got our blow off top, which I was watching for. And then after this blow off top, we did get a sell off. Now, what we're showing right now is that we're just going to get more continuation from here. And this is the part where we're going to see it go into an even bigger parabolic rally. Kind of the same how this was, where we just kind of built a parabolic rise and we had these quick impulses and these crashes, right? Kind of the same how we did this. This is kind of a big fractal of that. This entire move is just a parabolic rally, and what we're getting ready for, what we're pretty much at right now, is kind of like this move here, or this move here. And what we're building for is another one of those big impulses, except this next one is going to be huge, like off the charts, insane. I don't think people even realize, we look at the Doge chart all the time, but now we're going to actually have real projects that have a significant value proposition inside of the markets that are doing real things, scaling, making big solutions, all of this stuff that we need in crypto. Now we get to see the mania phase for these types of projects. And Dogecoin always kicks off the cycle, right? We've talked about this in years past. I remember people talking about this on Twitter for 3+ years now. I've been here for a long time, and I've seen the theses that we go through every cycle. And what we're seeing with Doge is just literally kind of like a light into the future, into the darkness of what the unknowing of, what is going to happen with our cryptos. Well, Dogecoin doing what it has is a perfect example of what is to come. So these Bitcoin pairs like Chainlink are going to perform exceptionally well. And we have made a higher high here. We've made a successful higher high. We broke this resistance. Now, in my opinion, as long as we can hold above this level here, we're going to go to a new all-time high very soon. Now, another chart I wanted to share with you guys is actually the Ethereum chart. It's very similar to what we saw with the Bitcoin pair, but the only difference here is we went for one more lower low. But in my opinion, even though Ethereum is doing really well, I do think that Chainlink is going to outperform it once again. We've fallen down to this support level back down in here. This is just a classic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Elliott wave impulse, followed by an A, B, C back down. We had 5 impulses in that C wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so I do think that we're going to get a rally at least back up to here. So in the short term, I do think Chainlink's going to outperform Ethereum, and we're going to have a nice rally through DeFi summer. A lot of things are going to be happening in DeFi because Chainlink is ultimately leading. So I just wanted to say watch out for these charts. So one final chart on today's list that I wanted to cover before we wrap up today's video is actually going to be Bitcoin dominance. Now guys, I left things the same from my last update. And in the last update, I had this green line drawn. We were just pretty much barely hitting this green line at 50% for the first time. And I drew the potential that we could see a short-term correction back up to resistance. Well, support did not hold, obviously, and it's not acting as any type of support at all, and we sold through that. So now we're at a really important point where we're going to watch and see what happens from here. Are we going to find some type of short-term bottom? Well, if we do, I honestly think that it's going to take place somewhere right around, let's see what level this is, probably here at 40%. I think at that point, we're going to end up getting a bounce that instead of coming up to this resistance, chances are it's going to end up looking something like this. Right? We'll end up coming up to 50% and then even dropping for another new low. In my opinion, this is the method that we're going to be following for these cryptos. I could be wrong, guys. We could have another one of these. Like, literally, I have no idea what really is going to happen here. But what we're experiencing is another one of these big sell-offs and another alt season. Bitcoin dominance is falling because ultimately new money is leaving Bitcoin and going into the altcoins. And this is why we're going to see this drop. I expect new lows to be coming for this chart, and we're going to see another one of these big drops like this was. And so when this happens, I do believe that we're going to see the same type of structure. And so if this does follow the same, we might see a short-term bounce. But, we could just sell through this support floor and none of this could act as any type of support at all. We don't know how crazy it's going to get. There will be some type of bounces. There will be relief rallies because I do think Bitcoin will have its turn to shine. It will just be lower lows and lower highs throughout this period. I think the altcoins, where they look right now, they look like they need to see a bunch more upside. And to be honest, with how big of a sell-off this has been, we haven't really seen altcoins do as well as I think most people honestly would have expected. Yes, they've performed well, and we've seen some cryptos go up a lot. But regardless, throughout this period of time, there really hasn't been a significant amount of value that's been going up. And so I think that we're going to be, right now, we're kind of been a little bit more suppressed. But as we head closer to, the reversal point where we will see Bitcoin dominance start rising, I think the altcoins are going to have really quick cycles, quick sudden pumps that are going to be really huge. And we just want to make sure that we're scaling out into that summer hype, right? So anyways, guys, this is the video I had for you. Just wanted to cover some of my thoughts, perspectives that I had with Chainlink. Really bullish on this. Really think it's going to perform well. So I wanted to give you guys a nice Friday update with Link. Give you guys some thoughts and perspective as far as where I think prices are headed from here. I believe that we're going to be seeing $250 to $500. It might not be within the next 2 months, but I do believe $100 will happen. So expect things to get really wild in this market cycle. We've just started the mania phase, and this is the part where we're really going to be cementing ourselves for printing of profits for the people that dollar cost averages for the people that dollar cost averaged and really took the time to invest into these markets, in the bear market. So anyways, guys, if you want to check out my groups, Video Course Signals, or if you guys want to or if you want to reserve your seat into my live training, links are all provided for you in the description to go check all of that stuff out. On top of that, if you guys want to join the Discord server for free or download my free ebook and study guide, links are also provided for you in the description to check that out. So with all that being said, guys, thank you all so much for watching this video. And with all that being said, I will catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.